All right. Good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Tuesday morning, shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern. Great to see Leonard, Michael, Brad, Brian, Danny, Chuck, Grant, Mark, Ola to him. Great to see Leda, Dave, Joe, Ron, Barbara, Brad. Brad actually just crushed it before on a couple of our trades actually earlier today. Brad had a phenomenal morning, as well as a bunch of us actually. But really, this is the type of morning that we kind of train ourselves for, right? Because it's not as often that we tend to see so many stocks moving throughout the pre-market. Well, that's often, but I'm saying in terms of spread, in terms of liquidity, even this one right now, it's moseying on up here. RVSN, this stock is a former runner back from the beginning of this calendar year, ended up making a huge pop for us back then in January. We're familiar with this trade, but that's not the reason that makes this actually tradable. What makes this tradable is the volume, right? And this you just don't see as often during these hours of the morning. So actually, quick couple of housekeeping notes before I go further into this trade, folks. Really quick, again, for all of our students in our chat board, Fausto actually has our Wealth 365 presentation lined up at 10 o'clock this morning. Now, keep in mind, Wealth 365 is a week-long conference of educators and mentors throughout the entire industry. Actually, a bunch that I'm a fan of. Started yesterday, but actually, Fausto will be presenting himself at 10 o'clock Eastern this morning. So for all of our students right there, I reposted that link. Be a friend, help the team out a little bit there. Just click that link to register, and you'll be able to join us at least for 10 o'clock with Fausto in Wealth 365. And again, if you're on YouTube, hey, just feel more than free to join right there as well. We'll post the link in the chat board too. Brad says he's in. There we go. Love to see that, Brad. Thank you very much. And again, just either way, I'll be doing the morning audio here just from 9:30 to 10:30 as Fausto's on Wealth. But let's get back to this RVSN stock. It's still pushing here. I have no problem putting this just on our watch list to begin. It was on our pre-market watch list, but we're going to put this on our morning watch list now because of the trend. Obviously, this is trying to show more signs of life here at this point. So a couple things. We talked about the volume. I'll get level 4 open here just for this trade in just a bit. I also am doing a workshop of my own today. That's a simulcast workshop right here inside our live trading room and on YouTube. Traders Talk. So, make sure to stick around for that at 11 o'clock Eastern time as soon as Fausto finishes up his presentation on wealth. Right back here inside our live trading room and on YouTube, we have our Traders Talk workshop. And, we'll likely cover not just this trade, but a few more that we had from earlier in detail. But the news that came out on this stock here, RVSN, that's right. Okay, so we don't really follow the news too often here day to day, at least. So you tend to forget. This company, Rail Vision, they had the contract, so to say, with the European Union, I think, with the railways there. That's what led to that pop back in January. So the news out today, trading higher after the company announced it had secured an order for its AI-powered, that alone is a pretty catchy headline, AI-powered switch yard system from a Class 1 freight rail company in North America. So, nice news that came out, but now even more so the trend, and even better, the liquidity. Just the fact that this stock has a tight penny cent spread here makes it very tradable. Not just that, but it's actually retesting and rebreaking right above the VWAP price here. So it's in pretty good positioning here for a morning pop. Absolutely. Just goes on our watch list here to begin. All right. Now, I will say, if you're going to be joining us in Traders Talk later on this morning, we're going to be going over this stock from earlier. We'll be going over a lot furthermore. Lace. Let me ask here. I don't need to ask Brad. He killed it. I'll go over his trade. But did anyone else capture the Lace trade from earlier today? LASE. Even if you left some money on the table like old Josh here, hopefully, still got a good piece of the pie. Brad got in from like 224. That's basically where I got in from, a little kind of higher, but he got out at 350. Huge shout out to one of our longtime students, Brad. I know Alan got in and out for about 40 cents. Dave got in and out for a little bit there. I think Wayne Grant too. So for anyone that did pretty nicely, Joe, Kathleen, Glenn, Chris, I'm catching all the chat now is scrolling up there for a bit. So a whole bunch of us. It's great to see, right? Chuck's still in from his 313. He's got a hefty little profit still. So, hey, I'm going to put this on our watch list here. I'm going to go over this trade a lot more in Traders Talk. You want to know the X's and O's of this move, I'll cover it here in our workshop later on this morning. All right. We don't need to be perfect with the exit as long as we are pristine with the entry. Right? Granted, of course, the more any stock moves up without you in it, you get a little frustrated, like, damn, I should have hung on. True, right? Yeah, absolutely. Especially for a cheap stock like this, especially one that has a good order book, tight spread, and big volume out there. That type of trade is not as often seen throughout pre market hours. But it wasn't even just Lace. It's not even just the RVSN right now. From earlier, chart doesn't look too hot now, but the VVOS, just think about this. This was not on our pre market list going into 8 o'clock. Why? Because it wasn't looking good prior to 8 o'clock. It was just down. It was like kind of slumping off here at 7:30. There were just better looking trades to prioritize. But after 8 o'clock, I started to see this pop up. I called it out in chat right away as soon as I saw this pop up. So I'll cover this a little bit more in Traders Talk, our weekly workshop, but it made a phenomenal move. I was on a coaching call with one of our students and led to a pretty good bounce that we were able to get off of 320, just a little bit above it. And now at this point, obviously long out, but yeah, this isn't looking as hot now at this point. Up 15%. Maybe it can keep going afterwards, but it seems like lower highs since the order book not as good compared to the others that we were just kind of describing. So, hey, I was even going over this on another coaching call with one of our new students yesterday, basically saying, and they need to trade pre-market more just because family and work basically. So they need to be more proactive during the pre-market hours for that reason, right? Well, that's totally okay, right? And there's plenty of opportunity throughout pre-market, but the biggest key is to make sure that you're just following a stock that has at least significant orders out there, big money out there on the order book, right? Our whole philosophy, our whole mantra is to follow the big money. It's kind of like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? If a stock's trading without there being big money out there on the order book, is it going to make a big move? Maybe, maybe not. So I'd rather not gamble on that. I'd rather not risk my money on maybe, maybe not. So thankfully, that's what, once again, that's what allowed like Lace to have such a good pop once it broke resistance at 225, 227. And then from there, the RVSN, we'll see if that can get going after the market opens up right from the VWAP price. Oh, we also had ACRV. This one, the order book wasn't as good, but had a nice pop prior to the 8 a.m. move. It kept going a little bit from that point as we jump back to the top of the gainers list now at this stage. Hey, this trade's pushing back up. I could put this back on our watch list at this point for that reason. Just be careful. It's probably more of a category 4, category 5 stock. Also, earlier, let me just check the order book for this too. I thought there was something pretty interesting. Maybe it was on the chart. Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. It was earlier here. It was right after 8 o'clock. It was the re-break of resistance here at 10:30. So 10:30 was a smaller resistance throughout pre-market, and it took a few stabs at it. It led to a decent entry at first. I didn't jump in time from there. I just was a little timid there at the time. Just pushed up 50 cents, 70 cents, but now it's moving right back on up towards that exact same price. I would assume for that to be resistance live right now. So I'm going to put this back on our list here, this ACRV. All right, folks, really quick, if you're interested in knowing the news out on these companies, we're going to post the news in the chat board we have all throughout the morning. So as we do the audio commentary at 9:30, myself and Rich will assist in the chat. Like he'll post the news if you're interested on these trades. But I'd rather just go right from top to bottom here, see if there's any other stocks that we could add to our watch list right now. Let me actually just check something here on my scanner. Yeah, 100K, good. All right. All right, we go from top to bottom now. Lace and ACRV we got already. MYMD, I thought there was a chance for this to make a little pop after 8 o'clock, just never ended up making that push. So we had a resistance on this trade from the chart right around 375, 380, and well, we still got it, just hasn't made that push just yet. If it's not going to make that push, then the chances of this breaking lower do increase. The trend isn't really that great altogether here for right now. So maybe I'll put this back on our watch list at the end of it all. Just want to see if there's anything else looking better. There's that VVOS trade, not really looking as nice now at this point, like we said. Ooh, not a lot else here on the gainer side, I'll tell you. Pretty decent pre-market, though. Actually, really good pre-market altogether. Life W, stock from yesterday, had a big pop and drop then. It had a little pop once again in pre-market here, but it's nothing compared to the move that it made yesterday. I'm not interested in this now. TAOP, little pop and drop. I think this could be a NFT crypto affiliated stock, but not like a good kind. Not the good kind. It's not like Mara or Riot. Even the miners have been pretty weak in relation to Bitcoin itself. But this one, I mean, hey, it's showing a little activity right before 9 o'clock here. Otherwise, I'll come back to this, do a little last call, and see if this is looking better at that point. MDIA pop that we had back from Friday last week. Not really doing much now. Bed Bath Beyond. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Little inside joke. Little inside joke there. I always have mixed up Bed Bath Beyond BBBY, which is, I believe, no longer listed, and Blackberry BB. So my trader's dyslexia typically kicks in with that. You know what? At this stage, wow, we went through like the entire, quote unquote gainers list there at that point. MYMD, I'll put on our list here at this point, but the others I just like a lot more, like the LACE, the RVSN, ACRV. All right. Again, like we had said from the very beginning of this meeting, folks, just keep in mind Fausto on Wealth 365 coming up at 10 o'clock. His presentation is. So we posted that link just earlier as we started, like we had said. But just click one more time, be a team player right there, help the team out there, and just make sure to register and join for Wealth 365. Let's hop over to the losers list here, see if there's anything looking good. I mean, kind of low volume stuff all around. This one trading 363,000 shares. It's down pretty good. INMD in mode limited. Nice drop, gotta say. And you have an iceberg on the buy side. At least that identifies as a support for you there. I'm going to put this on our list as a short. I want to see if this can keep going here at this point. Broke below some big support that we had back from the end of last year. Loosely speaking, that's right around 1860-ish, 1850-ish. All-time low seems to be at like $6, $6.65-ish or so. So it's not close to there just yet. But as far as just this drop-off, whatever news came out, the fact that it's at the lows right now, it's the same thing as saying a stock that's on the gainers list and that's at the highs. So it's something that you definitely want to keep a focal point on here going into the open. Pot stocks down a little bit. They had to cool off a little bit right after how much they ran up the last week and a half. I know that Fausto has done a few different videos on YouTube and on social media regarding the pot stocks and even the gold and silver stocks too. I'm going to keep CGC just on my side list for right now. All right, that short that we had, that was INMD, I think that we said, right? That short from just before. I didn't put that down on my list officially until now, so. All right, we got 5 stocks to work with now at this point, folks. Current time is 9:15 almost. Want to make sure that our students have enough time to prep, get ready for the market open. Let me know if there's anything else looking good. Last call before we finish up. Brian says Tilray had bad earnings this morning. Well, bad is not good for us in terms of buying it, and we can't short Tilray either. So, I'll pass on that trade altogether. If that's the reason why the whole pot sector is dropping, that might even be an overreaction there, just with that in mind. But I'm sure we'll follow the pot stocks again going into this week and next. Yeah, ACRV really pushing back up pretty strong right now. So it's already on our list at this point. Looks pretty decent. Just want to make sure the order book can remain fairly filled in. Don't have like a 15, 20 cent spread popping up out of the blue. All right, folks. Today, again, last call. 2 separate things actually coming up. 10 o'clock, Fausto Wealth 365, like we've been saying. But right afterwards, as normal, right here, simulcast here inside our trading room, plus on YouTube, our weekly Traders Talk workshop. I'll have the chance to go over all of these pre-market trades, and I'm sure we'll cover more. But really, between all of the stocks that were moving this morning in pre-market, it's not as often that you tend to see so many trades that have tight spreads and good order books here. So how do you gain the confidence with knowing when and where to jump into a position? We will talk about that in our workshop at 11 o'clock this morning. All right. But, folks, hey, best of luck trading going into the market open altogether. And again, I'll be back in the mic in about 15 or so minutes. Talk to you soon.